Foreclosure. It's a word that can sound pretty intimidating. But what is it really? Well, it's just a legal process. It's a series of steps with a clear timeline and, importantly, specific rights for homeowners. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and demystify that entire process, step by step.
So, it all kicks off with one single missed mortgage payment. But what happens next? It's not like a switch flips and it's all over. No, it's a journey, and it's a journey with legally defined steps. Let's take a look at what that journey looks like right from day one.
All right, first things first, let's get our core definition straight. At its heart, foreclosure is simply the legal path a lender takes to reclaim a property when a borrower stops making their payments. The lender's main goal here? It's to sell the home and get back the money they're owed. Simple as that. Now here's a crucial point. Not all foreclosures are created equal. The process you'll face really depends on the laws in your state. Think of it like a fork in the road. In some states, the lender has to file a lawsuit and go through the court system. We call that a judicial foreclosure. But in other states, they can move forward without ever seeing a judge, and that's a non-judicial foreclosure. This one difference changes the entire game.
So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to start with that first missed payment. Then we'll cover the communication period and those all-important workout options. After that, we dive into the legal process, a chance for redemption, and finally, what happens after the sale. Let's jump in. All right, Section 1, a payment is missed. This right here is the trigger. This is the event that officially starts the clock ticking on everything that follows. This timeline is going to be our guide. Check out these critical signposts. You see day 16? That's when the penalties start. Then days 36 and 45, that's all about communication the lender has to make. And once we hit day 90, and especially day 120, well, that's when we start getting into formal legal territory. Let's break each of these down. Section 2, the communication window. So those first 45 days, they're not really about legal action. They are a legally required window for communication. The law makes sure of it. Okay, so on day 16, that payment is officially late. And bam, late fees get tacked on. And as you can see, what you pay depends on your loan. If you've got a conventional loan, you're typically looking at 5% of your principal and interest payment. For government-backed loans, like FHA or VA, it's a little bit lower, at 4%. The law also puts some responsibility on the lender here. By day 36, they are legally required to at least try to get in touch with you. And then, just 9 days later, by day 45, they have to send you information and an application for what are called workout options. And that brings us to Section 3, exploring workout options. This is such a critical stage. This is where homeowners have real alternatives to actually avoid foreclosure. You'll also hear this called loss mitigation. So your lender is required to give you a shot at 4 main paths to get out of this situation. Now, these are 4 very different solutions, so let's break down exactly what each one means for you. First up, we've got loan modification. The key here is simple. You want to keep your house. The lender actually goes in and permanently changes the loan's terms. Maybe they lower your interest rate or stretch out the repayment period to make that monthly payment something you can actually afford. Next is a short sale. Now with this one, you are selling the house, but here's the twist. You're selling it for less than you owe on the mortgage. The lender has to agree to accept that smaller amount, and usually they forgive the rest of the debt. It's a way to avoid a formal foreclosure hitting your record. A deed in lieu of foreclosure, this one is pretty much what it sounds like. It's like you're just handing the keys back to the bank. You voluntarily give ownership, the deed, back to the lender, and in return, they agree to cancel your debt and stop the foreclosure. And finally, there's forbearance. The easiest way to think about this is like hitting a temporary pause button. The lender agrees to either pause or just reduce your payments for a set amount of time. It's all about giving you some breathing room to fix a short-term money problem and get back on your feet. Okay, listen up, because this is incredibly important. While you are applying for one of these options, there is a federal law that gives you a major protection. It's a rule against something called dual tracking, and it's illegal. What it means is your lender legally has to hit pause on the foreclosure process while they review your application. They can't do both at the same time. Now for Section 4, the legal process begins. If one of those workout options doesn't pan out, the process shifts gears from communication into formal legal action. On day 90, things get pretty serious. The lender sends a formal breach letter, or what's called a notice of default. This is the official warning shot.
Then, anytime after day 120, the lender can file a document with the court called a lis pendens. It's a public notice that literally means suit pending, and it's the official starting gun for a judicial foreclosure.
Let's move on to Section 5, a chance for redemption. Now, even after the legal gears start turning, there's often still a last-ditch opportunity to reclaim the home.
There are two kinds of redemption, and it really all boils down to timing. The equitable right happens before the foreclosure auction. You can literally stop the sale by paying off the entire loan balance plus all the costs. The statutory right, on the other hand, only kicks in after the sale, and it's only available in some states. It gives you a window of time to buy the property back from whoever bought it at auction.
And that brings us to our final section, Section 6, after the sale. Let's talk about the financial fallout for the borrower once the property is actually sold.
So, what happens if the house sells, but the price isn't enough to cover the whole mortgage debt? Well, the lender might come after you for the difference by seeking a deficiency judgment. This would let them go after your other assets. We're talking wages, bank accounts. But some loans have this incredible protection built in. It's like a financial shield called an exculpatory clause. If you have one of these, it limits the lender's claim to only the property itself, keeping your other assets safe.
So there you have it. From that first missed payment all the way to the final sale, foreclosure isn't just one single event. It's a clearly defined process. Understanding the timeline, knowing your workout options, and being aware of your rights, that is the most powerful tool you have. So the question isn't just about what happens during a foreclosure, it's about how knowing the process prepares you to face it.